People keep asking me about this no contact thing, like it's a magic spell to make someone miss you. Let me tell you something. Silence can be powerful, but silence without strength behind it, that's just quiet. If you're going to go silent, do it with a reason, not out of weakness, not out of hope. Do it because you finally realized you are worth more than being treated like an option. So contact alone won't create lasting impact. Emotional detachment with purpose is key. A lot of people think that just by cutting someone off, the job is done, that just by not texting him, not calling, not showing up, you're going to suddenly become unforgettable in his eyes. But let me tell you something right now. If you don't understand what stands behind the silence, then all you've done is pause the conversation. That man ain't losing sleep just because you ain't quiet. What keeps him up at night is when you go quiet and you start living. It's when your absence starts to look like a life he no longer belongs to. You want to hit a man where it hurts? Don't just stop contacting him. Start upgrading your life. Start walking like a woman who knows she's too good to beg for attention. Don't post things hoping he sees them. Post them because you're proud of who you're becoming, and whether he sees them or not, it don't matter. Because now the focus ain't him, the focus is you. That's what real detachment looks like. Not pretending you don't care, but actually no longer placing your happiness in his hands. A man can sense the difference between a woman who's staying silent, hoping he comes back, and a woman who's staying silent because she's moved on. It's in the way you stop checking your phone. It's in the way you stop asking mutual friends about him. It's in the way your energy shifts. And that shift, that's what makes him feel it. Because now you're not reacting to him, you're responding to yourself. You're listening to your own needs, your own peace, your own purpose. See, no contact is just the start, but what happens after that silence? That's what determines whether you actually grow or whether you just wait. Some of y'all are going no contact like it's a tactic, but love, your life ain't a game. This ain't chess, this is you. And the only way a man will truly understand your worth is if you start living like you already do. Because a man won't value you based on how much you chase or cry or hope. He values you when he sees that your world didn't stop turning when he walked out of it. And don't get it twisted. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It just means your feelings stop controlling you. You stop letting the pain decide your next move. You stop letting heartbreak make your schedule. You stop building your day around whether or not he's going to text back. That's where your power is. That's the shift that makes him realize, dang, she ain't waiting on me anymore. And that's when regret kicks in. People will always feel it when your energy pulls away with purpose. They may not say it, they may not admit it, but they feel it because your silence starts echoing louder than your words ever did. It starts to speak volumes about your growth, your healing, your self-worth. And the moment a man realizes he no longer has emotional access to you, it hits him. Not because you made him jealous, not because you blocked him, but because he no longer exists in the world you're now building for yourself. You see, when you stop showing up emotionally, he has to sit with himself. No more reactions, no more drama, just him and the silence he created. And trust me, when you detach with intention, when you stop caring not to get a reaction, but because your heart finally let go, that's when you become unforgettable. Because now he sees the strength he underestimated, the worth he overlooked, the woman he lost when he thought he had time. So I'll say it again, no contact is not enough. You got to detach emotionally. You got to step into your power. And you got to stop doing it for him to notice and start doing it because you finally did. That's the difference between silence and strength. That's when it starts to hit him. And that's when the real healing begins for you. You have to own your silence with confidence, not as a trick, but as a standard. See, too many people treat no contact like some sort of reverse psychology, like it's a strategy to play hard to get. But let me tell you something straight. If you're going silent just to get a reaction, then you're still giving him all the power. Silence only works when it comes from strength, not fear. It's not about punishing him. It's about protecting you. And if you don't own your silence with confidence, then all you're doing is pausing your own growth while hoping he notices your absence. That's not healing. That's hesitation. Real silence, the kind that gets felt deep, is the silence that says, I'm done playing small for someone who couldn't see my value. It's not about cutting someone off and then secretly hoping they chase you. It's about walking away and knowing that even if they never come back, you'll be just fine. It's the kind of silence that's grounded in dignity, not desperation. That's when it becomes powerful. That's when it becomes undeniable. Let me be real with you. Confidence isn't loud. It's not always about making a scene. Sometimes it's just about not calling, not checking up, not replying, not explaining. It's about knowing your worth doesn't need a second chance to prove itself. When you own your silence, you're not sitting around wondering if he misses you. You're busy reminding yourself why you deserve more than mixed signals and half-effort love. You're not trying to be mysterious. You're just minding your business, protecting your peace, and letting your absence do the talking. You see, when you pull back, a man starts to wonder. But if you pull back with purpose, if you do it from a place of self-respect, not emotional manipulation, he starts to feel it. There's a difference between disappearing to teach him a lesson and walking away because you finally learned yours. And that difference, that's what separates women who keep cycling through heartbreak from women who never look back. One is waiting to be chased. The other is already gone. Let me tell you something about men. We don't always recognize a good woman when we have her. Sometimes it takes that silence, that confident, unshaken silence, to wake us up. But here's the part most people miss. You can't fake it. You can't go quiet while still being emotionally glued to your phone, checking every story, stalking every update, waiting on a message. That's not strength. That's suffering in disguise. The power of your silence lies in how you use it. Use it to grow. Use it to evolve. Use it to rebuild the version of you that you let fade trying to hold on to. Own your silence like it's your new standard, like you're no longer available for confusion, inconsistency, or breadcrumbs, because that's what happens when you stop reacting. You raise your standards without even having to speak. A woman who doesn't explain her absence is a woman who's already made peace with her decision. And a man feels that. He feels it in the space where your energy used to be. He feels it when your name no longer lights up his phone. He feels it in the quiet nights when he scrolls through old photos and realizes that the door he once took for granted is now locked. Let him feel it. Not because you're trying to hurt him, but because you finally decided to heal yourself. Own your silence because it's no longer about what he wants. It's about what you deserve. You deserve peace that doesn't depend on his mood. You deserve love that doesn't come with conditions. And if that silence is the only way you get it, then let it speak louder than words ever could. This isn't about revenge. This isn't about making him suffer. This is about showing up for yourself in a way you never have before. You're not just going quiet. You're choosing yourself. You're prioritizing your peace. And once you do that, once you truly own that silence, you'll realize it was never about getting him back. Stop chasing closure. Become the closure he didn't expect. See, too many people waste their time running around trying to get answers from people who already gave them the answer through their silence, through their actions, through their disrespect. You don't need a long paragraph to explain why somebody walked away from you. You don't need a final conversation to understand why he stopped trying. The closure you keep begging for, you already got it. It's in the way he treated you when you needed him most. It's in the way he let you cry and still didn't change. That's your answer. That's the truth. That's the truth, whether you like it or not. You keep looking back for explanations, for validation, for some kind of apology to make it make sense. But sometimes it won't make sense, not because you did something wrong, but because people don't always leave your life with respect. And that's okay, because your healing ain't supposed to depend on how kindly they walk away. Your healing begins the moment you stop chasing them for peace and start creating your own. You've got to be your own closure. You've got to be the one who says, I don't need your goodbye to say hello to my next chapter. See, a lot of people stay stuck not because they can't move on, but because they think they need something from the past to do it. They're waiting for a conversation that might never come, and even if it does come, it probably won't heal anything. Because the truth is, people rarely say what you want to hear. You think he's going to come back and say, you were right, I was wrong, I took you for granted. No, he won't. He'll come back confused. He'll say things like, I don't know what I want, or I miss you, but I'm not ready. That ain't closure. That's chaos. And you've got to stop inviting chaos just because you're afraid of a silent ending. Real strength is when you stop needing the conversation. Real peace is when you stop rehearsing what you would have said if you had the chance. Real growth is when you look back and say, it ended ugly, but I made it beautiful. Not because he gave you closure, but because you gave it to yourself. That's when you start winning. That's when you stop chasing someone who couldn't give you what you deserved in the first place. When a man walks away and you don't chase him, when you let the door close without your foot in it, he starts to feel it. He starts to wonder how you managed to move on without needing his explanation. And that's what hurts the most, not your silence, but your acceptance. The moment he realizes that you didn't wait around for his half-hearted apology, that's the moment he starts questioning everything. That's when it hits him, not because you begged, but because you didn't. Let me tell you something real. You don't need closure from someone who closed their heart on you while you were still open. You don't need understanding from someone who never tried to understand you when it mattered. The longer you keep asking why, the longer you stay stuck in a place that's already emptied itself of love. Stop going back looking for explanations. Start looking forward to your own healing. You're not broken, you're becoming. And sometimes The only way to fully become who you're meant to be is to stop waiting for broken people to make you whole again. You are the closure. You are the final chapter to that story. The way you rebuild, the way you rise, the way you keep going without him, that's the ending he never saw coming. And that's what he'll remember. Not the silence, not the text you didn't send, but the way you vanished from his life and found peace in your own. That's what leaves a mark. That's what makes you unforgettable. Not because you chased him down for a final talk, but because you chose yourself instead of chasing someone who chose to lose you. Elevate your life in ways he can see but not access. See, it's one thing to go silent, and it's another thing entirely to level up while you're silent. That's when it starts to sting. That's when he feels it. Because men notice when you disappear, but they feel it when your disappearance turns into development. You don't need to post revenge quotes or try to make him jealous. Just let him see the results of a life he no longer has the privilege to witness up close. That's more powerful than anything you could ever say or send. When you elevate, you shift the story. You're no longer the woman who waited. You become the woman who rose. You become the woman who took the pain, the silence, the abandonment, and turned it into something beautiful. That's power. That's the kind of growth he can't unsee. And it's not about showing off. It's about showing up for yourself. You go back to the dreams you put on hold while loving him. You return to the goals you pushed aside, hoping he would prioritize you. You reclaim every piece of yourself that got lost in trying to keep someone who didn't know how to keep you. Let me tell you something about men. When they think you're still in the same place they left you, they don't worry. But when they realize you've upgraded your life and you're not doing it to impress them, but because you finally believed in you, that's when the regret kicks in. When he sees you glowing, thriving, building a life that doesn't include him, that's when the silence becomes loud. That's when it becomes impossible to ignore, because now he sees what he walked away from, not as it was, but as it has become. And don't let elevation just be material. Elevate your mindset, elevate your standards, elevate your peace. When you stop answering calls just because you're lonely, when you stop entertaining mixed signals, when you start saying no to what doesn't align with your purpose, that's elevation. That's when your life starts moving in a direction so different, so peaceful, so powerful that he can't even reach you from where he's standing. That's when he realizes that not only did he lose you, but he lost a chance to grow beside you. And believe me, that hits different. You don't have to announce your glow up. Real elevation speaks for itself. It's in your energy. It's in your boundaries. It's in the way you don't flinch anymore when his name comes up. It's in the way you no longer react, no longer ask, no longer wait. That's what hurts the most. The fact that you've elevated so far that reaching back down for him is no longer even a temptation. You're not ignoring him to be cold. You're just not reachable from the level you're on now. And that's what eats at a man. Not that you're mad, but that you're unbothered. Elevating your life doesn't mean you didn't love him. It means you finally started loving yourself more. And once that happens, there's no going back. You start dressing better, speaking better, walking better, living better. You invest in your health, your peace, your purpose. You spend time around people who see your value. You create a world so full of joy he realizes He was only ever a chapter, not the whole story. And the more you elevate, the harder it becomes for him to come back. Because now, even if he does try, he knows he can't access you the way he once did. Elevation is silent, but it is visible. And once he sees it, once he realizes that you're not trying to get him back, but trying to get yourself ahead, that's when it stings. That's when he starts remembering the version of you who needed him and realizes she no longer exists. She's been replaced by a woman who doesn't beg, who doesn't break, who doesn't wait. A woman who used the pain as fuel, the silence as strength, and the separation as a stepping stone. That's how you make him feel it, by becoming unreachable to the man who thought you'd always be available. Let your absence speak louder than your presence ever did. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is remove yourself from a situation and let the silence echo louder than anything you ever said. When a man gets used to you always being there, texting first, fixing things, explaining yourself, checking in, he begins to take that presence for granted. He doesn't hear your words anymore. He stops appreciating the sound of your love. But let me tell you, when you finally go quiet, when you walk away without the usual goodbye, it shakes something deep in him. You don't have to beg someone to see your worth. You don't have to scream to be heard. You just have to leave. You have to disappear from the chaos. Stop explaining yourself to someone who already made up their mind to misunderstand you. And when you do that, your absence becomes louder than anything you ever said in your presence. It becomes the message, a message that says, I won't keep showing up where I'm being ignored. I won't keep pouring into someone who leaves me empty. A man might not hear you when you're crying and asking, but he hears everything when you stop talking, when the calls stop coming, when your name stops lighting up his phone, when you stop being there in the way you always were. That absence, it hits different because it's not about just being gone physically. It's about being emotionally and mentally unavailable in a way he didn't expect. It's about no longer trying to convince him you're worth staying for. You've done enough convincing. Now let the silence carry the weight of everything you never said. Let him feel what it's like to miss the woman who loved him through everything. Let him feel the gap you used to feel so effortlessly. And don't go back just because he noticed the silence. Let him sit in it. Let him wonder. Let him come face to face with the reality that the person he thought would never walk away actually did. That the person he took for granted no longer gives him access. That's where the regret builds. Not when you argue, not when you plead, but when you vanish in strength. You see, men are wired to notice absence differently. When you're there, they get comfortable, but when you're gone, and I mean truly gone, not playing games, everything starts to shift. He remembers your voice, your touch, your presence. He replays conversations. He revisits photos. He checks your page. He listens for any sign that maybe, just maybe, you're still hanging on. But you're not, because now you understand the power of your absence. Let your absence remind him of your value. Let it expose how much space you were holding in his life without him even realizing it. Let it teach him what your love truly meant. And let it do that without a single word spoken. Your silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing when you've said and done enough. It's knowing when the only thing left to do is walk away with your dignity intact. Don't second guess it. Don't check in. Don't explain your silence. Don't break it just because he finally noticed. The power lies in consistency. Once you go, stay gone. Let the man who couldn't hear your heart when it was beating for him learn to live with the silence it left behind. That's not revenge. That's reality. That's what happens when someone doesn't realize how loud your presence was until it's no longer around. Your absence is your answer. It says everything you were trying to express. It tells him without emotion or effort that you're done being an option, that you're done being overlooked, that you're done being anything less than what you deserve. And when you let it speak for you, it will say more than your words ever could, because sometimes the deepest impact is made not when you speak, but when you finally go silent for good. What makes a man regret losing you isn't distance, it's watching you thrive without him. A lot of women think that going no contact is enough to make a man realize your worth, but it's not the silence that gets him, it's what happens after the silence. It's what he sees when you're no longer checking on him, no longer reacting, no longer waiting. It's when he sees you smiling for real, living for real, and finally choosing yourself. That's what turns in his gut. That's what makes him stop and think, how did I lose her like that? You've got to understand, most men don't feel the weight of their decisions right away. They feel it in waves. They feel it when they see you doing better without them, not pretending, really doing better, when you're not faking it for attention, but genuinely evolving, growing, succeeding, glowing. That's when the silence starts to sound different to him. That's when the image of you in his mind starts to shift from a memory to a missed opportunity, because now he sees you as what you always were. But from a distance, he can't close anymore. See, a man doesn't regret losing the woman who begged, who cried, who waited. He regrets losing the woman who stopped doing all that, the one who walked away with grace, the one who healed, the one who took everything he broke and turned it into fuel. He regrets the one who found herself without needing his validation, because now he can't be part of the new version of her. And that's where the pain sets in, not in losing the relationship, but in realizing that you are no longer reachable. He might have thought you'd always be there. He might believed you'd never move on, that he had time to figure things out while you stayed stuck. Well, what he didn't expect was for you to keep going, for you to actually let go, for you to start thriving in front of the world, not because of him, but in spite of him. And when a man sees that, it hits his pride, his ego, his heart, everything, because now he knows the door he took for granted is locked and the key doesn't fit anymore. Let him watch you rise. Let him see the confidence in your walk, the joy in your laughter, the clarity in your decisions. Let him witness your glow without needing to explain where it came from. Let your progress be the proof, because you don't need to prove anything with words. Let your life speak. Let your peace shout. Let your new standards scream that the old version of you no longer exists. And let him sit in that. Let him sit in the reality that he didn't just lose someone, he lost you. The truth is, he might reach out, he might test the waters, try to make small talk, throw out "I miss you" just to see if there's still access. But you've got to be solid. You've got to remember that thriving isn't just about the outside stuff. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't settle for temporary feelings anymore. You don't entertain confusion. You don't invite in what you had to heal from. And if he wants to know what regret feels like, let him look at your life now and realize it has no space for him in it. There's something powerful about being at peace while someone else is in pieces over what they lost. It's not revenge. It's not bitterness. It's growth. It's maturity. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing that your healing wasn't about getting back at him. It was about finally coming back to yourself. And once you thrive on your own, you never again depend on someone to see your value because you see it first. You live it daily. And the man who couldn't handle your love before, he gets to watch from the outside knowing he'll never get that chance again. That's how you make him feel it. Not with words, not with silence, but with your evolution. That's what stings. That's what sticks. That's what stays with him. You didn't just survive the loss, you turned it into your breakthrough.